It's aDadWhoGames, and welcome to my humble channel. Honestly, I'm surprised at how regular my videos have been with my being a teacher and all, but either way, thank you for checking out my video today. If you like what you see, you should subscribe. Like 90% of my views are from the unsubscribed. I know this is just a COVID hobby that I've been keeping up with while living real life, but I want to see it through. And I totally like making these videos as much as I like building in The Sims 4. Be sure to also follow me on Twitter and Twitch, as I'm active on both. And with that, let's build a Victorian cottage. I usually make builds based on video game locations, or using a specific theme like my series on homes of the 20th century, which of course are all available on my channel, and when you search for EAID aDadWhoGames in the Sims 4 gallery. But here, I just felt like building, so I ran clear across the state of Alabama. Forrest Gump? Well, that's all I like to say about that. Anyway, I love building using the items in the Strangerville expansion, so that meant a Queen Anne Victorian. But as I started designing it, especially with it being in Henford-on-Bagley, it just sort of became a Cottage Living Victorian. I went with all the traditional attributes of a classic Victorian: a large wraparound front porch, non-symmetrical, a turret of some sort, which I went with an entire tower design to break up the exterior style. And, well, I think that's it. I mean, there probably is more to it, I just can't remember. It's kind of like me in grammar. I mean, well, I'm pretty good at being able to name this or that rule for writing. Usually, I just don't even think and autocorrect my writing as I go. I can't tell you why I made a change, but I know it was necessary. So I don't know all the reasons why this is Victorian, but I know it's a Victorian. I really like the blonde colored wood to all of the Strangerville items, but, well, like Jared Leto's character in Fight Club, it was just too blonde. It needed color interruption. And although I had initially laughed at the shingles siding from Get Famous, I was compelled to use it here to give off that weathered, once was pristine, cottagey design. Believe it or not though, Victorian cottages are a thing. I didn't know that when I made this, but then I stopped and I was like, Greg, what are you thinking? Of course there are. I started going through all the epic farmhouses there are out there, and just, well, as this build unfolds, it just looks right. In the end, I made a pretty true-to-form Victorian cottage. But with great floor plans comes great responsibility. And I know the Victorians are synonymous to having many rooms, but I was up to the challenge because I usually shy away from interior decorating, but I kind of took this as my try at upping my game. I decided to make the home modern, but still pay total respect to what would be the historical value of the house itself. The inside maintains the Victorian style while the interior incorporates modern aspects using Cottage Living as the primary expansion set of items. I imagined a couple living here too, childless, and simply going about their lives as they worked at being successful Renaissance Sims, complete with having an attic full of activity items to get to, once they've mastered their current skills. I also made one a writer and the other an artist/interior decorator. That's why I made the entire second floor the master suite, complete with an art studio, a study, and a cozy little nook for cuddling. I'd totally be into having a Victorian, cottage or other, to live in with my wife out there somewhere where it's peaceful. Yeah, I know everyone wants that, but really, when it all comes down to it, who wants to deal with the upkeep of a house the size of a Victorian? I mean, my wife always daydreams of having a butler to buttle around like Tim Curry, but even so, we get lost in a place like this. When we're together, we're mostly doing something or just hanging out in the same room. That's why we're really considering the idea of a tiny home once our daughter moves along with her life away from her parents. Or we could build a tiny home for her too. But yeah, being in a suburb just outside a major city, and also having a major highway just 2 blocks away so you can watch the head and tail lights whipping by at supersonic speeds. We're also on a main road. Yeah, it gets pretty darn loud, especially with the custom cars driving by as the weather gets warmer. You know what I mean. Dropped, wide rims, vibrating license plates from the hellhound woofers. and of course the farty but insanely loud mufflers. There's also the muscle cars that go revving by like a Harley. Oh, and don't worry, they're here too. I think I've expressed why we'd like some peace and quiet. My dog would also benefit from it as well, as he barks like a madman whenever a sound outside alerts him, and he gets alerted when he's inside and a rabbit outside is nibbling on something in the neighbor's yard. We weren't always so noise sensitive, but I think we're just getting old, which we're all over. I mean, we enjoy watching each other aging and laughing as time ticks by, but the louder the noise, the more annoyed we get. We used to go to concerts, but now... Oh crap, I sound so much like an old man. That's one thing I just don't want to be. I'm only ever going to feel old if I let myself. And I honestly feel as young as some people seem to think I look. I'll take it, but I'm disappointed that my ever-growing stock of silver hair gets overlooked. And there's nothing worse than dealing with boomers treating me like a kid. But I don't interact with the old very much, if at all. Well, there are old teachers that I work with. But older teachers are mostly sharp as tacks. But I mean, we've all had the older is not better teacher at some point in our academic lives, or the overhead projector and stool they never left, the teacher that just gave notes, the teacher that gets angry at the stupidest things, the teacher that abhors technology. What kind of crappy teachers did or do you have? Let me know in the comments. Okay, let's get back to this house. I just can only say so much about a build before getting bored, so that's why I ramble off on tangents. I mean, don't get me wrong, I really do enjoy it, but as far as content, meh. Also, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert, I just build stuff that I think looks cool. As you can see, I wanted to incorporate more flowers. I always end up defaulting to the plain green bushes, but it's cottage living. You need to have flowers, so I didn't hold back. I used the blue and brown coloring to the wood accents as my color guide. I always loved blending the background and foreground of a room, if that even is a thing, calling it the foreground. I actually didn't include the speed interior decorating because it simply takes me forever. But I did live stream the entire build on Twitch, as I do every Friday and Saturday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, way over here in the United States. Although granted, I think most of my viewers are from the United States, but, you know, it's YouTube. Anybody can watch. Either way, I'd love to have you stop by for a stream. So instead of exposing you to such head-to-wall banging imagery, I put together a tour of the finished build. Which, honestly, I think that's what I always do, but if we're being real, I've been making content other than speed builds a lot, trying to find my niche whilst trying to come up with appealing shticks. But I'm being drawn back to the subjects of my most popular videos, namely video game locations. But that's not what we're doing here. But if that wasn't a reason to hit the subscribe button, then I don't know what is. Also, if you've legitimately watched this video up to this point, you must be enjoying it. Leaving a like would be much appreciated. Also, thanks for watching. I really have fun making these, and it's really cool that you sat here and watched it. Thank you so much. Often, I use suggestions from viewers like you for my builds. So if you have any ideas for a cool build for me to tackle, leave a note in the comment or at me on Twitter. So while I might not be an architectural savant, I hope you found my video entertaining, as your average US dad shows off his gaming content creating hobby. During the school year, I'm a weekend streamer on Twitch, and I think I might actually try out using YouTube Live. And it's also only on the weekends that I have time to make videos for you here. Once the summer comes, you'll certainly be seeing a lot more of me. And who knows, maybe this will one day be more than just a hobby, but that begins with you. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope I sparked your interest in checking out what the rest of my channel has to offer. I'm constantly evolving to appeal to my subscribers, so I would appreciate any and all comments on this or any of my videos. It's only through that and subscribing that I know I'm on the right track. Anyway, I'll leave you with some YouTube tunes as you walk through my Victorian cottage. And until the next, have a day. I kind of like collecting and showing them off.